Hello, my loves. Welcome to this space. I'm going to do a collective energy read. So if you're seeing this message or this video, I'm so sorry. At the same time that I just started recording, Blue just got so rambunctious. He was trying to use my maraca as a new toy and would have torn it apart, or my... Anyways, if you're seeing this message, it has found you for a reason. I trust that there's something here for you to help you move through whatever it is that you're navigating in life right now. I know life can feel a little bit turbulent. We've had some pretty dense collective energies. A lot of things from the past are coming back. I'm apologizing for the noise in the background. Blue found one of the loudest toys he has in his basket and has decided that is what he will be using as the instrument for our background noise. So these dense energies that have been coming through, and a lot of it has to do with, oh my gosh, I'm sitting here and I'm like, where are my cards? I didn't even grab them. And so like, what a beautiful... These are like the energies right now. Like, we're doing things that we wouldn't normally do. There's like behaviors and things that we're doing that seem oddly out of character, maybe, and a little bit different than what we might normally be doing, or normally how we would do things. Maybe jumping too quickly into things, and so there's this like, yeah, there's like instability energy. Blue is restless, so restless, which is so funny because I've asked Spirit to bring me in messages as to what the collective is navigating, and then I'm watching Blue like, he just tried to go in my room, but the door's closed, and now he's like going over to his food bowl, and now he's looking in his toy basket. And so it's this energy of like, we're a little bit everywhere. Like, maybe there's distractions, or we feel like we're being pulled in many different directions. Maybe we're hunting for something. It looks like he's looking for something. And so it's just interesting. Like, I don't just read cards, I read from all the energy in the room. Yes, hello, come here if you must. Yeah, and it's just like, maybe we are requiring a little bit of extra loving and attention at this time as well. A need to be softer with ourselves, a need to be a little bit gentler within and with those around us. Because when we're moving through things that feel like, denser, or we're just more tired, we all know we might be a little bit irritable or a little bit more than usual. So there are these energies that I really want to bring awareness to, if you haven't already, which I'm sure you are aware if you're here listening to this. You're feeling the things you're feeling, and a lot of people that resonate with what I offer, excuse me, tend to be more highly receptive beings, are more sensitive individuals, or highly sensitive individuals, those who have gifts but don't know how to navigate them, or aren't aware of them at all even, but you know that there's something within you that is coming online, or you have a like higher perception, or whatever way that sensitivity might be. I think it's all sensitivity, but some people feel it one way, and some people like high sensitivity sight, right? They see and notice things. I'm gonna have to take that toy away. And so there's noise happening around us. There's things happening out of our control that we're really I feel like there's a lot. And this is personal, so let me know if this resonates. But I feel like I've been challenged a lot with things that don't necessarily feel aligned, or feel like I'm just like, why is this happening? Like, just why? Like we've been doing so good. Like, what the if is this? And so I feel like that's one of the energies right now. It's just like pushing us to grow in ways that we haven't before, or pushing us to grow in or see parts of ourselves that have been hidden. And so I've been feeling that. I've been feeling that on a whole other level lately, and feeling challenged, especially with blue. And so, it's super interesting as we navigate this journey. And I'm going to pull cards. I have to go get them. So there is this energy of us developing a greater sense of emotional stability within ourselves. And so maybe that's why collectively we're being thrown like not really big things, and maybe some are big. I've definitely had a few like, whoa, that's tender. But a lot of just like little like nitty gritty, like, when you have a feather in your sweater and it just like pokes at you, like lots of those is what I've been feeling within collective energy. So yeah, let me know how this resonates. We'll pull some cards here to have spirit clarify these energies that I've been feeling and what's being channeled and coming through. Three of Pentacles. Is that Three of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck? So, and it all has to do with us coming into this like sacred union. This sacred, threes are numbers of what I believe to be divine union. And I might have even mentioned this in my last read, that yeah, we're like going through what is keeping us separate. It's like we're weeding out the weeds that are keeping us split inside of ourselves. And I don't know if that's fully making sense. That's so funny too, because the oracle card I pulled from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck is number 3. It says the benefactor, grace and generosity. Grace and generosity, right? So be graceful, or, invite in grace and be generous with yourself as we move through this time of transformation. And it really feels like, we're removing the weeds that are like keeping us separate inside ourselves, that are keeping us like divided. What's the word I'm looking for? Do you guys get what I'm saying? Like, what is dividing you from your truth? And what is like getting in the way of you tapping into your fullest potential or coming into harmonic balance within yourself, right? And so that's what I really feel like is happening within the collective energy, is like, what is separating us internally, or what is causing this separation within ourselves, right? We're in this deep phase of coming into divine union within ourselves, the divine masculine and the divine feminine coming into equilibrium, right? We've always been so masculine dominant, especially in Western culture. And so it's like we're coming back into this balance, but it's almost as if for a minute the pendulum had to swing to the other extreme. And so I don't know what that looks like for you, but I just stopped pushing. I stopped efforting. I stopped doing. I really just went into like recovery mode for a long time. Many of you who have been with me on this journey are probably quite aware that I dropped offline for well over probably 2-3 years, and like you'd see the odd thing from me, but I did that thing where they say disappear and watch what will happen, because it truly was a time of needing to disappear and go within in many ways. And so I feel like that's what's happening, is we're coming into this equilibrium between the divine feminine and the divine masculine within ourselves. And if you don't quite understand what that means, the masculine energy, it doesn't mean like if you have feminine energy that you're female. It means like, no, like both of our parents need feminine energy, because that is the nurturer in us, right? The feminine energy is the nurturer, the one who is okay sitting back and, getting your feet rubbed or rubbing your own feet, giving yourself the loving, like, oh, this was a long day. And I know for many people it looks different. Sometimes it's like having a glass of wine or a beer after work, right? To each their own. But it's like allowing yourself to be nurtured as well as the nurturing aspect. And there's so much more to that, but that's just like a really brief example of how we can all relate to feminine energy. And then as for masculine energy. I'm so sorry if you heard my neck crack. The masculine is the doer, the hard working energy, right? Whereas the feminine is like the receiver, and so that's the energies that are coming into balance, where we are coming out of this very like logically, right? The masculine is logic, the feminine is feeling. And so we're coming out of this way of being in society where we like everything logically needs to make sense. Like people are starting to move through life with greater compassion, with more intuition, right? Which is also the feminine. And so, I guess it's just bringing forth the awareness of like how in your life are these opposing energies coming into divine union. And that also means like light and dark. Like where are your light and dark energies coming into harmony? And maybe that's where all of these little things that are coming up and just like nicking us in the side, that's like, oh, that's freaking annoying. Maybe that's what's up. And it's so funny, as I'm like sitting here doing this, I'm super noticing how big my hair is getting. And then I'm feeling like a little bit lightly self-conscious about it. And so I'm just like witnessing how even in this moment, I'm like witnessing a shadow come up, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to stop the video. Like what I'm delivering here is important to me to deliver. And regardless of how I look or how people perceive me, I'm just going to keep going. I don't even, let's be real. I don't identify with what I look like. I'm just rolling with it because it's what I got. But, so even in this moment, like confronting a shadow, it feels better to confront it within the community than it does to like confront it alone and try and shy away, right? And so these are ways in which, and just as you've watched me do that, is to like honestly confront your insecurities and your tender moments. And I don't do that to have like sympathy or some level of like I don't need your pity or I'm not looking for external validation in any way, shape, or form. I'm just acknowledging something that I'm feeling in hopes that somebody can learn from how I have learned to navigate my own shadow and my insecurities, right? When it comes up, it's much easier to say like, oh, okay, like I see you feeling insecure. I see you, and like that's okay. Like we can giggle and laugh at it and then move on, right? There's no need for me to sit here and ponder like, should I even keep going because my hair is like next level these days? No, I'm gonna keep going because I love you and I love what I do, and I know that there's something to offer and there's some potent messages coming through here. Boom, there it is, baby. There's our life and death on the bottom, or life and death and rebirth. Blue's going crazy over there, right? And so there's going to be chaotic energies. There's going to be things happening around us that we can't control, like my hair. And we just got to take what we get. You take what you get and you don't get upset. Or you get what you get. Something I used to say to the kids in daycare. Yeah, and so it's like we're learning how to navigate these little internal battles with greater grace, and it's bringing us to that sense of inner wholeness, inner fulfillment. And as I'm saying that too, I'm like witnessing my dog go through the same thing. Like he's being a crazy little nutcracker over here, and I'm watching him move through his own challenges within his own being. And also learning within myself how to help him and be more graceful with him, especially in times when he's like being extra challenging and I want to like, react in ways that probably aren't beneficial for either of us. So it's just, I feel like that's really what's going on is we're confronting all of these little bits and pieces that actually make huge impact in our lives. And so if you've been navigating some of this tumultuous energy or whatever you want to call it. Maybe it's not necessarily tumultuous. I haven't felt like it's tumultuous, although I've been holding like a pretty stable ground within myself. And it depends on the perspective, right? If you're in the perspective like that the world is out to get you, and I would invite you, like, I understand that you're moving through some pain and tenderness, and that's valid. Like, you're allowed to feel pain and move through what you're moving through. But the longer you stay there, the more you're just going to entertain your suffering, right? There was something a very wise individual said to me one day, and that was that suffering is voluntary, pain is not. Okay, we feel pain, but suffering is when we hold on to it and milk it. And we don't have to milk it. If you need to like grieve for a couple days, then absolutely do it. But know when to draw the line. Know when it's time for you to gather yourself and move forward, right? Because I'm telling you, the 3 years that I disappeared, I milked it. I milked every ounce of suffering and pain that I felt inside of me. And I had no idea that I was milking it. But it was a mentality. I was a victim. The world was out to get me. And that's all I had. I was just like, I fucked my life up. Here I am. What's the point? And eventually you have to get sick of your own shit too. And if you're not sick of your own shit, you can decide to get sick of your own shit sooner than later. You don't have to wait until you're actually sick of your own shit. And so, yeah, we're like finding an equilibrium from these inner worlds. We're getting great perspective on what we want in life through these little moments, through these things that are causing like discomfort inside of us. And so all this contrast is giving us really good clarity as to what we want, what direction we want to go in, what we want our life to look like, feel like, taste like. One of my favorite things that I used to say is, you don't know what you want until you know what you don't want. And I feel like that's one of the greatest things life has given me is it. I went in every single wrong direction before I found the right direction. But now I know for certain what is the right direction for me because I've gone every other route prior. And so, maybe there's a message in there for you. I'm going to read this oracle card. Just from like looking at it prior to like reading the book. They're sitting on a mushroom. Mushrooms are what provide the neural network for our plants to communicate underneath the ground, right? The mycelium network, if you haven't already heard of it. It's an incredibly intelligent, plant form. I don't even know what you would call that. But then there's these little mice sitting on top of this mushroom. And so there's something about the interconnectedness that's coming through with this card, right? And these are all of like I said, the little things that are irking us. There's an interconnectedness as to why it's really important for us to move through these little things, like Blue whining at me in the middle of me trying to record this. And all week I've been really dealing with these frustrations with him of just being like, why do you have to be like this, dude? And just in this moment, like acknowledging and confronting them within myself while I'm doing this reading is showing me like that we are on the same level. Like he's confronting his at the same time I'm confronting mine. And so when we meet these things with resistance, it creates greater resistance and no problems get solved. So the idea is to release resistance or confront where your resistance is so that you can see where you are holding yourself back still. And so I don't know how that related to what I was just talking about or where it came from. But yeah, they're sitting on top of this mushroom. They're eating like kings. They have dragonfly wings. One of the another things that have been coming up is if you don't know how a dragonfly turns into a dragonfly, from what I understand, it starts out as a little like larvae, and then it climbs up. When it's ready, it climbs up, the larvae climbs up a strand of grass, and the sun mutates it into a dragonfly. And I could totally be butchering this. This is just like a brief moment I remember in a podcast that really impacted me. But we've been getting all these solar flares. We're having all this astrological stuff really set us in a new direction on planet Earth, and I really feel like there is some level of mutation happening now. Not mutation as in we're going to turn into monsters, and no, I'm talking about like just like really subtle things happening within us. Like the human consciousness is activating and we are coming online. People are waking up. We know, we are able to see and perceive between what is deception and what is not anymore. It's almost as if like our internal navigating systems are becoming louder and we cannot ignore them anymore. And so, yeah, I don't know where that came from either. I'm just the channel's coming through and I'm falling asleep. Benefactor, grace and generosity, gifts, support, mentoring. When the benefactor weaves her energy into your life, you're put on notice that all manner of positive reinforcement is coming your way. The universe wants to let you know that just as you have been generous with others, serving with your gifts, even in the smallest capacity, so will you be rewarded in myriad ways. I don't know if I said that word right. I gotta look that up. The most beautiful gift the benefactor gives you is the recognition that you are stewarding and sharing abundance on behalf of a higher source, one that is always working through you. The motives for her generosity to you, as well as yours to others, are intangible. Although you will see the results reflected in the material world, the benefactor reminds you that it's in the purity of your desire to share without the need for reciprocity. That, paradoxically, your initial generosity is reciprocated tenfold, seemingly without any connection to the original act. Dream sharing and carrying into being, and you will be amazed to see this vibrant seed take root and spread. Do it just because, and the benefactor will give you her blessing. So funny, because I just wanted to do this just because, and that's one of the things, right, is just to show up just because, just for the simplicity of being in this journey as a community, or coming together, like a place where this is how I reach my community. And you know, we all have our own ways of expressing and how we reach our own communities and tribe, right? And so it's okay to just express that for the means of expression. And you know, we've overcome moments of hardship. And before I go on, I do want to mention that I offer very affordable readings at any price. Sorry, apparently it's getting dark all of a sudden. And so if you haven't already, I have another channel that I will be switching my tarot readings to only being available on this one channel that you're seeing. And I will have to share that in my other. But anyways, if you're interested in a personal or private reading, you can send me a message and I will send you a recorded reading, however long you want it to be, at whatever cost feels good for you. And you can receive it in 24 hours. And I'm drawing a blank now, so I'm going to leave that there. But what I was going to say is, we're like moving out of, or this is what's coming. Like perhaps a tower moment is coming. Perhaps there's a moment where shit's about to get real. Or so we're being prepared for like this divine intervention to come in and switch directions. And there's like a lot of gas leaving my body right now. So I feel like it's like, okay, we've been releasing. We're going through the release process. We're still in the release process. And then what's coming is going to kind of switch gears, stick us in a different lane, and fast track towards the abundance, the fulfillment, all the things that we could possibly want and dream of. Oh, I hope in some way, shape, or form this was able to benefit you. I love you all so much. Thanks for stopping in. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time.